It's all quieting down here in Croke Park. We now know who's going to be in the All-Ireland football final. It's going to be Tyrone who are going to try and dethrone the Dubs. Brian McGuigan, you're very happy here today. Can Tyrone do it in a few weeks' time?
Well, look, going by today's performance, it'll not do against the Dublin team who are just setting the world alight, and you have to give them credit because they keep coming back. And I know from myself, winning an All-Ireland, come back the following year was always hard to do, but for Dublin to be doing it consistently year after year, it's a credit to them. But it's the ideal way to go in the final for Mickey Hart and his men, because everybody's expecting Dublin to win, and especially after Tyrone's performance today, where I would have to say that Monaghan probably were slightly better than Tyrone, and a lot of Tyrone's main players didn't play to their potential. But credit has to go to Colin Cavan. I thought he was exceptional today, right across the field when he was driving forward. I think he actually got the first point for Tyrone, and his defensive play is sweeping, and that last tackle at the end was just a match-winning tackle, and he was immense. He was my man of the match today.
Anyone who knows me will know that I'm not a big believer in reading too much into stats, because I often think they don't tell the story of a game. But I found today's stats interesting. I was handed a sheet, and if you look at it here, most of the stats are in Monaghan's favour. Like, they had 56% of the possession, they had nearly the same amount of kickouts, they won more kickouts, they had 3 less scoring chances from play. Lots of them, and just were in Monaghan's favour, but yet Tyrone won. How does that happen?
Well, look, Monaghan are going to be kicking themselves because both teams in this match knowing it was a great opportunity to get to the final. The game was there to be took for Monaghan. They didn't take it. When they went a point up halfway through the second half, you felt that they were going to kick on and win. But Peter Hart, he went and he demanded the ball, made it break through the middle. A good block by Monaghan defender, but Nell Sludden was hand soccer style in the back of the net. And saying that, Monaghan showed great belief to come back in the game. 3 points behind, they knocked off 2 scores from Kieran Hughes and Drew Wiley, and you'd have to ask questions of their decision making in the last couple of minutes. Rory Bagan went up there, and the way the game panned out, the referee was always going to give a free. They probably should have took it forward and bought a free. Rory Bagan hit the ball and Tyrone got it, and it was game over. But on Malachy O'Rourke's side, you'd have to question why Kieran Hughes wasn't brought on earlier, because with McManus out of the game, he came in and he gave them that wee bit of extra threat, and he was dangerous to Tyrone. If he had come on a wee bit earlier, it could have been a different story.
Funnily enough, Malachy O'Rourke was asking some questions downstairs, but it wasn't about that. It was on about, he said that he expected extra time, they get more time. They only got to 3 minutes. He said every other game this summer has gone 6, 7, 8 minutes. That and a few other decisions that he felt didn't go Monaghan's way. What do you think, being as impartial as he can be as a Tyrone man watching it?
Yeah, well, I would be biased and a Tyrone man, but I did actually think throughout the game that a lot of the 50-50 decisions were going for Tyrone. There was definitely a case in the second half down on the far 45 where I didn't see a foul, and Monaghan had intercepted Tyrone. There was a 3-on-2 situation, and the referee brought it back for a Tyrone free, and that could have been a big deciding factor. But look, if you probably look throughout the 70 minutes, you can be biased, but I don't think the referee is at fault. There's a lot of things you can look at. Malachy maybe at fault. A lot of the players made mistakes during the day, so look, I wouldn't really blame the referee.
Does that come from lots of people say it as a fact, and I don't know if it is a fact or not, but a lot of the time those 50-50 decisions go to the more dominant team, or the team that the referee perhaps might feel, or for the want of a better phrase, the better team on the field?
I don't know. You could go by the crowd, but the atmosphere in here was electric, and it was a hard game to referee.
Why?
I think it's just because it's typical Ulster football, and after at half time I was saying to myself, the team were leaving everything out in the field. There was a lot of hard tackles going on. He's not an Ulster referee, so he's probably trying to put a stamp on the game good and quick, and he was blowing fouls good and early, which probably didn't help the flow of the game, especially in the second half.
Now, we were watching this up here, and I only saw you move twice. Once when Tyrone got the goal, when Nell Sludden managed to get the ball in there, and the second time coming up toward the end of full time, you were getting a bit nervy, a little bit agitated, a little bit of squirming. Was there any point where you felt Monaghan might have stolen this?
No, well, I did think when Monaghan got back to a point, I felt that even the referee would maybe try and play for a draw. But look, we've waited a long time to get back here, and it's a credit to Mickey, because Mickey would have a lot of doubters, not only outside of Tyrone but especially in Tyrone. And if you look at 7-8 weeks ago when we were in Navan and we were so close to being put out. It's a credit to Mickey that he's brought these players back. As I said before the game, he hasn't changed his style. A lot of people would have criticised him going out against Dublin last year in the semi-final and been very defensive, but they're playing the exact same road, and this time they're getting results, but we just have one more hurdle to get over.
It's a very big hurdle, though. It's the kind of hurdle that if you're a Thomas Barr, who's a hurdler, might go, I'm not sure I'm able for this one. And I don't want to be defeatist, but in the next few weeks, what can Tyrone do to really make history? You've made history before in the noughties, but this time round it's different.
It is, but the one thing I would say to the players, and I'm sure Mickey will do that, is to enjoy the night and to enjoy the next 3 weeks, because the way the championship's going now and it's played off on the bounce, even last week, which was more or less an All-Ireland quarter-final, they only had 7 days to prepare for this game, and they hadn't time to enjoy a quarter-final victory. Mickey always says whenever we were winning that you have to enjoy the occasion. They're going to enjoy the night, but over the next 3 weeks they have to knuckle down, they have to forget about tickets, and it's a new experience for them, because this team relatively have lost 3 All-Ireland semi-finals. They've got over that hurdle. They've nothing to lose. Nothing's really. The Tyrone people aren't expecting of them to beat this Dublin team, because they're an all-conquering Dublin team. Whatever happens, happens. And if Mickey, no better man to win a one-off game than Mickey, I'm sure he'll have everything spot on for the final. The one thing that didn't work from the day was starting with his game changers in Lee Brennan and Kieran McGuigan, who didn't have a great influence on the game. So it'll be interesting to see what 15 he goes out with in the final.